They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally pulling itself together, finally ready to jump aboard the Caitlin Clark rocket ship toward mainstream relevance and major revenue, they tripped over their own shoelaces. And by that, I mean Caitlin Clark herself. Yes, the league's one-woman ratings machine has now landed on the injury list. The Indiana Fever announced that star guard Caitlin Clark will be out for at least 2 weeks due to a left quadriceps strain. Clark reported leg pain following the team's loss to the New York Liberty on Saturday. She underwent an MRI, and on Monday, the diagnosis was confirmed. Now basketball fans are spiraling. Talk shows are in a frenzy. And Stephen A. Smith? He's practically levitating from sheer outrage, firing shots at the WNBA Bullies, at Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, and especially at Angel Reese, who still seems to think fans are tuning in for her, too. If you agree with Stephen A., comment "baby goat over baby giraffe" below. Let's get into it. Clark was last season's WNBA Rookie of the Year and earned a spot on the All-WNBA first team. Through the first 4 games of this season, she's averaging 19 points and leading the league with 9.3 assists per game. But I couldn't care less about those stats. I already know this young woman can hoop, she's special. What I do care about is something a fan tweeted at me earlier today. Let's bring that tweet up right now for everyone to see. It's from @4thGen by Butchie. Stephen A., can the WNBA keep itself afloat while Caitlin Clark, is out? Let's be clear. Caitlin Clark is the same woman who transformed women's basketball from something only your ultra-competitive cousin watched into must-see TV. And now? She's benched. With a quad strain. Out for a minimum of 2 very long Clark-less weeks. So now, the WNBA will attempt to act like everything's fine, while in reality, the actual product might collapse faster than an Angel Reese layup. Picture this, the league's brightest star sitting in street clothes while TV ratings sink faster than a stone in a kiddie pool. Unfortunately for the WNBA, the celebration was short-lived. Yesterday afternoon, reality hit hard, and the players got a brutal wake-up call: be careful what you wish for. New York Post headline, Caitlin Clark sidelined, with the Indiana Fever announcing the shocking injury. Keyword, shocking. But not for the reasons you might think. And of course, the first person to blow a gasket about it? Naturally, it's Stephen A. Smith, ESPN's resident hype engine. And he didn't just react, he went DEFCON 1. While others in the league offered polite shrugs, Stephen A. came in like a human Molotov cocktail, torching every weak take and every poor decision that led us here. And let's be honest, somebody had to say it. Everyone else is out here whispering sweet nothings, pretending like Caitlin Clark isn't the reason their paychecks are clearing. Meanwhile, Fanatics reported a 100% spike in WNBA merchandise sales. That boom started the moment Caitlin Clark entered the league. And now that we all know this, and we've known it for months, we get to see how the league responds while she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know exactly what's going to happen, but I've got a pretty good idea. Stephen A. didn't just voice frustration, he held court like a man who's been waiting for this moment to expose the league's incompetence. While WNBA execs have been out to lunch, acting like Clark isn't the reason the lights are still on, Stephen A. was out here bringing the receipts. He broke it down so clearly, it was like watching a math class taught with fireworks. "Oh, you think the league can thrive without Caitlin Clark?" he asked. "Cool story, bro. Now check the numbers, and try not to cry." Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the WNBA in attendance, both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans per home game and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams even moved their home games to larger arenas just to accommodate the surge of fans when Indiana came to town. That's all about Caitlin Clark. How do we know? League-wide attendance increased by nearly 50% last year. Indiana led all teams with an average of 17,035 fans, a 319% increase from the previous year. Let's break down the viewership too. Games featuring Caitlin Clark are averaging 1.178 million viewers. Without her? Just 394,000. That's not a dip, that's falling off a cliff. A threefold collapse in viewership, and yet we still have players like Angel Reese wondering why Clark gets more camera time. Maybe it's because Clark doesn't treat the basketball like a bowling pin and actually makes people want to tune in. We'll see. But I'll be very interested to see what kind of effect her absence has on WNBA ratings. Because if there's a sharp drop, then every critic will have to shut up and acknowledge that all the speculation about her being the golden goose? Absolutely true. Stephen A. didn't just wake up mad. This was months of watching the WNBA waste golden opportunities. He's seen Cheryl Swoops throw more shade than a beach umbrella, acting like Clark isn't dragging the whole league into the spotlight. And of course, Angel Reese couldn't help but make every moment about herself, like it's an audition for America's Next jealous teammate. Remember when Reese said, "If Caitlin's going to break a record, if it's going to count, she has to do it in the same amount of time as the original record holder, right? If Kelsey Plum did it in 4 years, then Caitlin should only get 4 years, too. Otherwise, is it really broken?" And then there's Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, whose entire Clark-related strategy could be summed up as, thanks for the ratings, I guess. It's like finding a genie in a bottle, and then wishing for a slightly bigger bottle. Now that Clark is sidelined, Stephen A. is essentially screaming from the rooftops, "I told you so." And frankly, he's earned that right. Notice what happens when people ask about Caitlin. Suddenly, the league starts mentioning other rookies. No league is about just one player, they say. Well, that player could get injured, they argue. Sure. But Stephen A. reminded them of something timeless. If this is the kind of magnetic force drawing fans to the WNBA, and her absence proves it, then everyone needs to shut it down and ride the wave. Translation: stop fighting it. Caitlin is the show. Either get on board, or sit in half-empty arenas wondering where all the buzz went. She was the first rookie in WNBA history with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. She became just the 4th rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. And last year, thanks to her, 6 different WNBA broadcast partners hit record-high viewership numbers. Every single one of those top-rated games featured the Indiana Fever. Let's rewind further. Clark's debut game this season, against the Chicago Sky, drew 2.7 million viewers, making it the highest-rated WNBA game ever on ESPN. That wasn't a fluke. That was the arrival of a generational talent, with receipts, viewers, and jersey sales that dwarf half the league. And what did the WNBA do? Did they shower her with attention? Launch a major marketing blitz? No. We got half-hearted press releases so bland they could have been written by Angel Reese herself. It was as if the league was afraid to admit that one player was doing more for their brand than an entire decade of group effort. They forgot, a rising tide lifts all boats. And if Caitlin's absence for the next 2 weeks proves how much she matters, then everyone better wake up, accept it, and ride the wave. I'll say it again, I can't wait to see what the ratings look like without her. Let's make sure someone asks me this same question 2 weeks from now. Stephen A. saw the build-up, the rise of Clark's star, the league trying to minimize it, the veterans throwing side eyes like she stole their spotlight, and now the panic has finally set in. The WNBA is scrambling to replace the one player who can draw an extra million viewers just by tying her shoes. And that's the point. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another top draft pick. She was the WNBA's lottery ticket. And instead of cashing it in and showcasing her, they tried to downplay it. Now that the ticket's temporarily out of circulation, they're finally realizing what she was worth.